but because it's obviously not me. Maybe that could be my stage name, Slurpee Pryor. Anyway, what I mean by Slurpee Pryor. New studies have come out that if you have like a snow cone, a Slurpee, they call that at 7-Eleven, they call it an icy, whatever you want to call it. If you have it beforehand, in other words, you've kind of pre-cooled your core, that it has a positive impact while you are training in the heat. Cool? All right. 1, hydrate continuously. 2, Slurpee Pryor. Slurpee Pryor. All right. Number 3, we just go back to using electrolyte drinks, okay? So this is just what are the electrolyte drinks that you need. You've got your Gatorades, you've got your, there's Infinite, there's Heed, there is plenty of different ones out there, Powerade, all of those. And you want to kind of keep those in balance. What the electrolyte drinks will do is keep the sodium and the water in balance. Along with, potassium. So pay attention to, what is in your electrolyte drink, how much sodium is in there, and are you getting enough? They're basically saying that most males need about 1,200 milligrams per hour if you are in high intensity sports. From women, I think it's something like 750. That's kind of the general guideline. I don't know how much I'd go about that. But you could figure that out via a sweat test as well, is basically figuring out what is the sweat content. If you're a salty sweater, you're probably going to need more. So basically, if you finish a workout and you've got a salty lining, then you probably might need to increase your salt. If you don't, you probably can stick with just what your average salt intake is. But you have to keep it going. So the electrolyte drinks, you might need something with a higher salt content, or you might need something with a lower salt content. Hydrate continuously, Slurpee Pryor, make sure you're drinking electrolyte drinks and ones that will work for you. 4, ice, which could be ice down the shorts, ice down your torso, ice down the back, ice on the chest. And basically, it sounds strange, and especially when I tell guys this, send ice down your shorts, especially during a race, because they're going to have ice there, right? So if you can find that, it could be cold water, don't get me wrong, but the idea is to cool the skin down. And it comes from what I started talking about, was that the blood flow goes to the skin to cool it down. Well, if you could take ice and you can cool down the surface of the skin, then you're helping out that blood distribution, and it doesn't need to go to that, at least at that point in time. And it's really interesting because I've always found when I have shoved ice down my tri-bottoms or my cycling shorts or whatever, that I did, don't get me wrong, it was a little bit chilly. When I first got over the first shock, I did get a little bit of an extra energy boost, because that blood distribution was able to filter itself out to other places and go back to the extremities, at least for that point in time. The problem is in very, very hot circumstances, obviously that ice doesn't last very long. Hydrate continuously. Slurpee Pryor. Drink electrolyte drinks made for you. Ice baby. All right. Last but not least, very, very self-explanatory. Train early. Get out there. Like I said, it was 5:30. It was 86 degrees. But at 9 o'clock a.m., it's already 92, 93, 94. So if I can at least, I'll take what I can get, right? So train early and train as early as you can. If you can train before the sun comes up, you don't have to worry about that, right? So it doesn't negate all the other rules, training early, but it will help you, at least get your training in and getting it done to as close to your metrics as possible. So there are my 5 rules for hydrating, or my 5 ways to help you hydrate. There are plenty of other tips and tricks out there to help you keep your hydration, to help cool you down, to help you get that blood back into the extremities. But at least now you hopefully have a little bit of knowledge as to why you're feeling like you're feeling. And my suggestion, pull back. Just pull back. If you're, pull back on your power, pull back on your pacing. Swimming's pretty good, but sometimes you find yourself in the second part of the day, if you decide to go swimming, that even though the water, is refreshing to some point, it's still hot, and you'll still swim probably faster and more efficiently in cooler water. But most of this comes from, bicycling and running. If you're doing obstacle racing, if you're, running stairs or anything like that, pull back, take plenty of breaks, and douse yourself with water if you can, but just pull back. Interesting anecdote, and then I will shut this down. I decided to go out and run with a friend, and she is just a little bit slower than I, and she also was having some issues. So we really pulled it back. And my workout for the day was a quick warm-up, and then it was 7 miles of aerobic, and then 3 miles of race pace or higher. And so we were running, and I was because she runs slightly slower than I do, I was really pulling back. So we were running about 9:15 miles, something like that. Well, when I got to my last 3 miles, I did have a little bit more, even though it was hot. And it was hot and it was humid. My last 3 miles were pretty good because I had saved all that and I was able to run. I at least had 3 miles in me at the end because I had pulled back even further than what I usually would. And that made all the difference. So take that into consideration. And it's okay, ladies and gentlemen. It is okay for you to pull back and go just a little bit slower than normal. I look forward to having another podcast with you next week. And I'm hoping, because I am racing this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, I will be racing the Ironman Ohio 70.3 on Sunday. And I hope to be able to do a podcast from the race and kind of give you a blow-by-blow before and after, as in prep, and then how things are going. And then hopefully I'll have a couple of guests with me as well. And we'll do kind of a mashup of different aspects of the race. And that's what I'm hoping. So don't quote me on it because I don't know the quality, and I really want the quality to be well. I want it to be better than it did on the last one, and I'm going to have to bring a portable recorder. But I'm hoping to be able to give you a blow-by-blow of the Ironman Ohio 70.3. Till then, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you listening. Please go ahead and leave me some comments on the website at www.innerfireendurance.com, or please subscribe wherever you decide to listen to your podcasts. That could be on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, iHeartRadio, most applications. But if you can't find Inner Fire Endurance Podcast on your favorite app, please drop me a comment on the show notes, and I will go ahead and make sure that it is available for you. All right, so thank you again for listening. My name is Brad, I am Coach Brad, and what I'll say to you is please keep sparking desire and considering limits.